Hey guys, my name is Timeo, and today I wanted to ask the question, are suppressors worthless in Rainbow Six Siege? This is a question that I've been getting a lot lately because by just looking at the description, this attachment doesn't sound all that impressive. And so what I wanted to do today is talk about its strengths and weaknesses, go over the details on how this is going to change your playstyle when you use this on one of your weapons, and so that you have a better understanding if this attachment is going to be useful for you in Rainbow Six Siege. And so the way that this suppressor works is that it reduces your overall weapon damage. If you have a PDW that normally would kill someone with 4 bullets, it's now going to require 5. If it required 3, it's going to require 4, and so on and so forth. Basically, 1 more bullet is required to take someone out from 100% to 0. The upside of it, and it doesn't seem like it would be that much of an upside, is that it makes your weapon quieter, and so that you can have more of a silent assassin approach. For most people, this doesn't really sound all that impressive. Like, 1 extra bullet in a game that already has a very fast time to kill sounds like a death sentence, and for a lot of weapons, it will be a death sentence. I cannot tell you how many times I've been trying to flank around with the MP7, for example. I put like 20 bullets into my enemy, and they're able at the last second to whip around and take me out with their assault rifle. Because I wasn't able to land up that headshot, and I have that reduced damage, I don't win that firefight because I was using the suppressor. Some of you might be thinking now, and rightfully so, well, why would you ever want to use this attachment then? If it puts you at a disadvantage in a firefight and it really doesn't give you that much of a benefit, I mean, there's no mini-map system in Rainbow Six Siege, so using the suppressor doesn't keep you off the mini-map, it only reduces the sound of your weapon, like that just doesn't seem like it's gonna be really all that helpful. Well, if you're playing on offense, I would completely agree with this conclusion. Because the offensive team needs to move towards the objective, that basically allows the defensive team a general idea of where they're going to be breaching on in. Yeah, you might be using a handy-dandy suppressor that makes your weapon suppressed, but eventually you're going to need to breach in through a window. You're going to need to kind of slap some boards out of the doorways, and that's going to give the enemy a clear indication of where you're coming from. And so in most situations, it really just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to use this attachment because you're not getting the full benefit of it. That does not mean that it is worthless on offense. I want to make that clear. I use it constantly with the G36C when I'm playing on Ash or when I'm playing with Sledge, but you are going to have to take things a little bit slower. When you breach through a window, you're probably going to have to wait 30 seconds to peek on through for the enemy to kind of look away, and then the 2 guys in that room you can catch by surprise with the suppressor. So it is not worthless, but it's just a little bit more challenging to get that full benefit when you are playing on the offensive team. When we move on over to the defensive side though, this is where I feel like the suppressor truly shines. I don't think a lot of people understand how silent it makes your weapon and how difficult it is for the enemy to pinpoint where you're coming from when you are using this attachment. I have been able to go on ridiculous kill streaks, and here is a clear example simply because I was using the suppressor. If I didn't have a barrel type or I was using the compensator, for example, the enemy would be able to hear my weapon clear as day. As soon as I went down this staircase, I fired at the first guy, 2 of them or 3 of them probably would have been able to turn around and realize that I was there because of the audio. Information in Rainbow Six Siege is a massive advantage. If you weren't aware of that, being able to locate where the enemy is and take advantage of that information is key. But because I was using the suppressor and in the chaos of the firefight that was happening down below, I was able to take out these 4 people and catch them by surprise simply because of this attachment. This happens over and over and over again when you are on the defensive team and you are roaming around. If you're someone who is going to be camping inside of the objective, then I'll agree the suppressor doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, they're going to have an idea that you're in the room, they're going to eventually scout you out, but if you like to roam, you're using Bandit, for example, Jaeger's another good one, Pulse is also fantastic. If you're using suppressor on those guys and you're working away around the map, it makes it really difficult for the enemy to pinpoint your location, and you can be that ghost, you can be that phantom, and be a menace to the enemy team. Another reason why I think it lends itself more to the defensive team are the weapons that you have available to you. When you're on offense, you're going to be using heavy-hitting assault rifles. On average, they hit harder than the SMGs and the PDWs for the defensive team, but the downside of them is that they normally have a slower rounds per minute and they have a lot of kick to them. If you've ever played as Thermite, you know exactly what I'm talking about. His assault rifle hits like a truck. It can 3-shot someone if you hit them in the body with it, but the downside of it is that it does have a slower RPM and it has more recoil. And so as soon as you slap on the suppressor to that assault rifle, not only is it going to require 1 extra bullet to drop your enemy, but you're also not going to get the benefit of the compensator, which makes the recoil much easier to manage. On the other hand, though, if you're playing with the PDWs or the SMGs of the defensive team, normally they're going to have a higher RPM compared to the assault rifles, meaning that 1 extra bullet isn't going to mean as much because you're just putting more rounds down range. And just in general, it's for this reason why I feel like they suit more of the defensive weapons overall. With all this being said, though, at the end of the day, the suppressor is still going to lend itself to people that go for headshots 100% of the time. If you don't have the accuracy or you struggle to land those headshots consistently, the suppressor probably isn't going to be the best attachment for you. Because you have that reduced damage, even though you may have a high rate of fire on your MP7, you're still going to be at a disadvantage when you go toe-to-toe with someone who is using an assault rifle with a compensator. Like, it's just a fact of life. And so if you want to get the full extent out of this attachment, I feel like you need to be on the defensive team, you need to roam around like it's your job, be that silent assassin and pick people off, but also go for headshots every single time that you get in conflict. If you're able to do that and you don't mind that specific playstyle, then you're going to absolutely love this attachment. For me personally, it's right up my alley. It's the reason why I use it on basically all of my weapons when I'm playing on the defensive team, and it's probably the reason why it's one of my favorite attachments in the game. And so overall, I would not say that the suppressor is useless. It definitely has its drawbacks, and it has a lot of drawbacks that you have to work around, but if you're able to take advantage of its strengths, it can be a very fun attachment to use in Rainbow Six Siege. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this explanation, and I hope it made sense. Let me know what you guys think about this attachment. Do you use it on your weapons? Do you find it to be completely useless? Let me know down below. But yep, until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.